This is a stimulus check update for April 25th. In this video, I'm going to go over the current timeline of check deliveries for SSI, SSDI, VA, as well as tax filers, non-filers, and everybody else in between, as well as some other stimulus updates. And then I'm going to answer your questions that you leave for me in the comments. So as you see, this video is a little longer than usual, but if you click the link down in the description below, you'll see every single question that I answer in this video with the timestamp next to it. So if you just want a few of the questions in this video that I talk about, you could just click on that part of the video so we don't waste your time. First question is, when am I getting my check? This is everybody's question, especially if you don't have your check yet. So first, let's talk about who got their check already. If you filed your taxes in 2018, 2019, you received checks last week and this week as well via direct deposit. There has been many paper checks sent out this week as well, and those checks sent out this week are from people who have an income of $10,000 or less who filed their taxes, or if the IRS had any issues with direct deposit into your bank account, they had the address on file and sent it via paper check. When it comes to Social Security recipients, SSI, SSDI, there is no specific date given by the IRS. There are some sources saying April 29th, since it is 10 days after the first direct deposit on April 15th, 10 business days, which makes it the 29th, and that is what the IRS said many reports ago, or it'll be May 1st, in my opinion, because it is the same day that many people are getting their benefits from the government. So hopefully it comes those days. Besides those dates that are not definite, as I mentioned, they are my opinion and approximation. They are just saying early May. For veterans, there is still no date, which is a complete shame. I think that they did this whole thing backwards. They should have allowed Social Security, SSI, SSDI, veterans to get their checks first. The IRS screwed the most important people in our society once again. Next question is, if I'm not getting direct deposit, when am I getting my check? So if we look here at this schedule, so as I mentioned, many checks went out this week, April 24th. If your income is $10,000 or less, or as I mentioned before, if the IRS didn't have your direct deposit information, there was some mistake, they sent it to your address that way, or there's also been people who were expect to get it from H&R Block if they filed taxes and there was some issue with the bank account there, they sent paper checks that way. But if you don't fall into any of those categories, these are the income levels for each week. It's going to be around 5 million checks per week, and it's going to go in $10,000 increments. Before I get into the other updates regarding the stimulus check, if you have any questions at all, leave it down in the comments below. I try to answer as many questions as possible, usually within the first few hours of publishing the video. Also, let me know your status if you're waiting for a check, if you are SSI, SSDI, or a non-filer, or whatever. Let me know what your status is, and maybe I could help you better that way whenever you ask your question. Okay, first update is with the IRS. So this was released yesterday, April 24th. There is veterans, SSI recipients with eligible children need to act by May 5th to quickly add money to their automatic economic impact payment, plus $500 push continues. So if you remember this past week, that there was a hard deadline to take action to claim dependents. If you fall into this category, VA, SSI recipient, and you don't have any dependents, this doesn't concern you. There is no action to be taken. If you do have dependents, whether son, daughter, or whichever child is under 17 that you're a guardian of, you could receive up to $500 per dependent. To add a dependent and get that $500 for the dependent with the stimulus check, you just go to the non-filer portal and put in the information there. If you do not claim a dependent, you will not get the $500, but you will get the $1,200 no matter what. Whether you claim a dependent or not, the IRS has your information, and no matter what, I just want to be clear, you will get the $1,200. Next update is the IRS put out a release yesterday, April 24th, so as we see here, April 24th, saying that Treasury, IRS, Deliver 88 million economic impact payments in first 3 weeks. Release state-by-state economic impact payment figures. So this goes over how much each state got paid in terms of amount of payments and the amount of dollars that went into those payments. So this is only until April 17th. This doesn't account for the paper checks that went out this week, as well as the direct deposits. So these are all the numbers here. I found this map here that does a better job of showing how much each state got in a visual way. This is from CNBC. So you could get an idea of which states got more money than others. The average payment was $1,791. So this just gives you an idea of who got paid. But if you haven't got paid yet, this doesn't really benefit you at all. Let's move on. Next update is with the Get My Payment tool, or what I like to call the Waste My Time tool, because it does not work. I've tried with hundreds of people to try to get them into the Get My Payment tool. We've tried everything possible, and maybe out of those hundreds, a handful had success. The IRS has reported that they will do a update this weekend. So today is Saturday. They supposedly did it last night, Friday night. They're going to do it tonight, Saturday night. And after this, hopefully they fix the payment status not available message that we constantly get, as well as if you put in all of your information, it'll say bank information wrong or whatever, even though it's correct. So hopefully they fix it by tonight or tomorrow. So I don't recommend checking it until Sunday morning, or Monday morning is probably safest. Don't go crazy constantly checking it, because it is not helping anybody. Before I answer some of your common questions that you leave down in the comments below, if you want more stimulus check update videos, you could subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you know all of the current information so that you could get your check as fast as possible. If you like this video and got value out of it, just click the like button. It's completely free and it helps out the channel. Now let's jump into my comments and we'll answer some of the questions that you leave on my videos. So Betty White says, I get SSI, do I have to do anything? No, you do not have to do anything to receive your $1,200 check. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to claim any dependents, then you just have to go through the non-filer tool before May 5th. But I just want to be clear, there is no action that needs to be taken for SSI, SSDI, veterans, RRB, survivors. That is, the IRS has that information. I don't know why they're stalling to give the checks. That's another issue, but you do not need to take any action. So let me like and heart that. Next question comes from Joey Albertson. When will vets be getting their checks? My sister, only income is her VA disability check. Will she get one? Hope someone will answer me. If yes, will she get one? All right, I'm assuming when. But yes, VAs are getting stimulus checks. I know it may seem like forever, and it really is horrible that veterans are completely at the back of the line. So they gave a soft date for SSI, SSDI, Social Security recipients, but when it comes to veterans, there is no date. It really is shameful. The IRS has been reported of working with the Veterans Affairs, the VA. They have the veterans' information. I do not know why they are not sending the checks. It is horrible, horrible. So sorry about that, Joey Albertson. I wish I could give you a better answer. Next question comes from Nunya. So it says, people that are SSDI and have Direct Express card, will it be put on that? Yes. So the same way that you receive your benefits, whether SSI, SSDI, or whatever, if you receive benefits from the government via Direct Express card or direct deposit or paper check, that same exact way that you receive the money on one of those three ways is the same exact way you will receive your stimulus check. Let me heart that. All right. Let's move on. Next question comes from Bernie's 619 Woods. So it says, I receive Social Security survivors benefits. I haven't received anything yet. When I use the Get My Payment tool for the last 10 days, it has said payment status not available. I have gotten no other message but that. Anyone else experience this? You are not alone. pretty much almost everybody using the Get My Payment tool has had payment status not available. So if you fall into the category of SSI, SSDI, Social Security, survivor, VA, pretty much if you receive benefits from the government, your status is not available at the moment. The IRS has reported that they haven't even put that information into the portal. So if you fall under any of those categories, at this point, it's not even worth checking the Get My Payment tool. It's just a waste of time. Next question is, what if the Get My Payment tool said that your direct deposit was supposed to come April 15th and it is not in your bank account? So there's a few different reasons why this happened. If you filed through a tax preparer, they created a temporary account. The IRS sent the stimulus check to that temporary account and it got sent back to the IRS. Then the IRS is going to send a paper check. So if it happened where it said April 15th, you did not get a direct deposit, look out for a paper check. It's not just with tax preparers. Also, if you had wrong bank information, if there was any issues at all, they're most likely going to get a paper check if direct deposit didn't work when it said it was supposed to. Do you have to pay taxes on the stimulus check? No, it's completely tax-free. It doesn't matter how much money you make. The $1,200 or more, however much you get, is completely tax-free. You do not have to pay taxes on it. Next question is, I recently filed a tax return. What do I need to do to get a payment? So if you filed your taxes in 2019, I'm assuming, or even if you did it 2018, the IRS has your information. Assuming the information that you put on the tax return is correct, there is no additional action to take. You just wait for the check to come, whether via direct deposit or paper check, whatever way that you were able to get the tax return. If it was filed in 2019, expect there to be some delays. The IRS hasn't processed the information from the 2019 tax returns yet. Next question is, what if I didn't get the full amount of my stimulus check? So if you didn't get the full amount, let's say that you claimed your kids as dependents and you were supposed to get $500 per kid under 17 and it didn't show up on your stimulus check, that money is not lost. Unfortunately, you can't get the money now. So what's going to happen is when you do your 2021 taxes for the year of 2020, then you will receive the $500 per dependent as a tax credit. So the money is not lost, you just won't get it anytime soon. Next question is, if I owe taxes this year, will I still get a check? Yes, so if you owe taxes this year or for the past 10 years, 15 years, or if you've never paid taxes, and you have back taxes, you are still eligible for a stimulus check, and the IRS will not garnish that check. It's completely separate, so yes, you will get a stimulus check. What action do I need to take to get my check? So at this point, April 25th, there is no action to take in order to get your check. The IRS should have your information by now and is processing it. As I mentioned, if you need to claim a dependent and you fall under SSI or VA, then you could claim your dependent that way through the non-filer. Otherwise, there is no action for anyone to take in order to receive your payment, assuming that the IRS has your information already. Next question is, I got a request from the IRS via social media, phone, email, letter for my bank account information so I could get my stimulus check. What should I do? That is a scam. So you do not have to provide the IRS any information via phone. Phone lines are completely down, can't even contact the IRS. No email, no letter, physical letter. Those are all scams. The only way you provide information to the IRS is through the IRS website. Even if somebody knocks on your door with an IRS tag on their shirt and says that they need to write down your information so you could get your check, that is a scam as well. So I know a lot, maybe you're watching this and you think, who would fall for that? A lot of people do, especially in isolation due to the quarantine. So reach out to your mother, your father, your grandparents, whoever is in isolation and may not know any better. Just tell them not to give any information to anybody. Next question is, how do you spot a fake check? So if we look at this article from today.com, it goes over the 6 different ways right here to spot a fake stimulus check or economic impact payment. You could pause the screen and read this if you want. I'm not going to go over each one, but probably the most effective way to test it is if you look at the Treasury seal On the check, so this one right here, bleeding ink. The Treasury seal located to the right of the Statue of Liberty uses black security ink that will run red and bleed when moisture is applied to it. So just put a little bit of moisture on your finger, rub it. If it is red, then that's how you know it is real. If it doesn't bleed red, then it is not real. Don't wet the check too much. But if you're unsure, make sure you check like this article from a credible source, not some random blog, to make sure that your check is real. Next question comes from Marie Dove. It says, my cousin carried her aunt as a dependent. The aunt is on SSI and SSDI. Will the aunt be able to get the $1,200 check? So this is really sad news. Unfortunately, no. So anybody who is claimed as a dependent, doesn't matter what age, a child or even a 60-year-old, 70-year-old, if they are claimed as a dependent under the CARES Act, they are not eligible for a stimulus check. Even if on SSI, SSDI, veterans, this is probably one of the most unfortunate parts of the CARES Act. So I'm really sorry, but your aunt will not get the $1,200 stimulus check. Next question comes from George Morse. So does anyone know the reason why they keep changing dates? So far the dates I remember them telling us are the 9th, 13th, 15th, 17th, 20th, 22nd, 24th, now the 29th, May 1st. Yeah, it really is ridiculous. The IRS is stalling. It was supposed to come out, you made up a good point, 3 weeks after they signed it into law. They just keep stalling. I'm not sure what is going on with the IRS. I think it's beyond incompetence. And it's really sad because so many people need this money to survive. And I think a lot of the politicians, including Steve Mnuchin, they have a cushy lifestyle. Steve Mnuchin has a $300 million net worth. He has no idea what $1,200 means to a family or someone living off of Social Security or a veteran. And I think it's because of that there's no empathy for people who need this money faster. Next question is, are we actually getting an extra $1,000 stimulus check? So there is a ton of fake news going around. Logan Alec, who does a great job of reporting on the stimulus check and giving stimulus updates, he made a great video talking about how it's fake news, how people are going to get a second check for $1,000. It is completely false, but a lot of people are saying it. It has to do with the $484 billion bill that just passed the Senate and Donald Trump just signed. And that does not affect people, regular people. It's only for small businesses. There are a lot of news sources and YouTubers who are trying to get the click and the view and not really giving the correct information. In the video with Logan Alec, he talks about Meet Kevin, and I agree with him. Meet Kevin puts out a lot of sensational titles and thumbnails which are not true. You click on the video and it's completely different. He, maybe out of like a 10-minute video, he may only have 3 or 4 data points, but he's able to stretch it out. This is no offense to Kevin, this is nothing personal, but I think that there are too many people giving misinformation. As you can see, I'm trying to give information from news sources, from the IRS, and give as many facts as I can in a video. The only 2 YouTube channels that I watch for stimulus updates would be Clear Value Tax and Logan Alec. Besides that, I get all my information from the IRS or credible news sources. To get all of the facts and correct information straight, these videos take a really long time. So I appreciate you watching, I appreciate the support, but if there is anything sensational, I recommend Clear Value Tax and Logan Alec if you watch YouTube videos. I'm sure there's many other YouTubers who are good, but those are just the only 2 I stick to just to keep things simple. Next question is, if you received a stimulus check on behalf of a deceased loved one, what do you do with the money? Good question. So we've heard that around 7 million dead people received stimulus checks before the living who really needed it. And I know we like to throw out the term dead people got checks before us, but if to give you some context, let's say you have a family member who had a wife or a husband or a mother or a father who died in 2019 and received a stimulus check. And this family member is going through hard times and could really use that $1,200. Now, Donald Trump said that he wants to collect those stimulus checks back. I'm not sure. There's still no definitive answer of what to do with that money. I think if someone is in dire need of that money, they should use it. If not, then probably leave it there and see if the IRS needs to take it back. There's no talk of penalties or anything like that. In my opinion, I think the best thing to do is leave the checks in the account for up to 6 months. If there's no activity, like if it isn't withdrawn or anything, then maybe the IRS could take it back because they see that no one's actually using the money. But I think a lot of families could benefit from this $1,200. It's not like it's sitting in an account and it's going to go to waste. If people could actually use that money to feed their kids, survive during this pandemic with all the jobs lost, I think it could be beneficial. Next question is, what if I never receive a stimulus check? It is possible. If someone is, maybe living in the rural area, doesn't have internet or media, not really sure what's going on in the world, and they just happen to fall through the cracks. They don't get a check or direct deposit or anything. If this happens to a person, you still get the money. You still get the $1,200 if that's what you're owed. You would have to wait until you file your taxes in 2021, and then you would get it as a tax credit. So if you fall into that category, you never receive a check by September 11th, don't lose hope. You will get the money eventually. It probably won't come when you need it, but if you have to wait the entire year, then you'll get it as a tax credit for the following year. I want to point out this comment by Lisa Cloud. For the people, my butt, I think vets should have gotten theirs first. After all, they fought and sacrificed for our country. What's wrong with this picture? I couldn't have said it any better myself. I think vets should have gotten their check first, and it's horrible that they don't even have an approximate date of when to get the check. This is completely backwards. If I didn't answer your question, please put it down in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer it. Otherwise, I'll put it in a future video. If you want to watch more stimulus check updates, I have a playlist down in the description below, so you can click that and learn what's going on. Subscribe to the channel if you want more updates like this, or you could click either one of these videos over here. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the support. Stay healthy, take care, and I really hope you get your money soon.